Welcome. In the next few minutes, we will explore what ISO 9001 means by the context of the organization. Clause 4.1 requires every organization to understand its internal and external environment before building its QMS. We will look at why context matters, what kinds of issues to consider, and how context shapes the entire quality management system. Let us begin. We begin by understanding why context analysis is the essential first step for any quality management system. Understanding context means looking inward and outward to identify the factors that can influence the success of the QMS. Here are the key elements. Internal issues are the factors within the organization that can affect its ability to achieve quality objectives. These include organizational culture, governance structure, available resources, technological capability, employee competence, and the maturity of existing management systems. Understanding internal issues helps us recognize our strengths and limitations so we can design a QMS that is realistic and achievable. External issues are the factors outside the organization's control that can influence quality outcomes. These include market conditions, regulatory requirements, competitive pressures, economic trends, technological developments, and social expectations. External issues can create both risks and opportunities for the QMS, and failing to account for them can leave the organization vulnerable to disruption. PESTLE analysis is a widely used framework for systematically scanning the external environment. It examines political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. By working through each category, organizations ensure they consider the full spectrum of external influences rather than focusing only on the most obvious ones. PESTLE is particularly useful during initial context analysis and periodic reviews. SWOT analysis combines internal and external perspectives into a single framework. Strengths and weaknesses address internal factors, while opportunities and threats address external ones. Many organizations use SWOT as a synthesis tool after completing separate internal and external analyses. The resulting matrix provides a clear, visual summary that supports strategic decision-making and helps prioritize where the QMS should focus its attention. Context is not a one-time analysis. ISO 9001 requires organizations to monitor and review information about internal and external issues on an ongoing basis. Markets shift, regulations change, technology evolves, and the organization's own capabilities develop over time. Regular review ensures the QMS remains relevant and responsive to the environment in which the organization operates. Let us define 4 terms that are central to understanding context in ISO 9001. An internal issue is any factor within the organization that can positively or negatively affect the QMS. Examples include the competence and motivation of employees, the condition of infrastructure, the effectiveness of internal communication, and the organization's values and culture. Internal issues are within the organization's sphere of influence, which means they can often be addressed directly through management action and resource allocation. An external issue is any factor originating outside the organization that has the potential to influence quality. These factors are typically beyond direct control, but must be understood and monitored. Regulatory changes, economic downturns, shifts in customer expectations, and emerging technologies are all examples. By identifying external issues early, we can adjust the QMS proactively rather than being caught off guard. Clause 4.2 of ISO 9001 requires organizations to determine the interested parties that are relevant to the QMS and their requirements. Interested parties include customers, employees, suppliers, regulators, shareholders, and the community. Understanding their needs and expectations is essential because these requirements directly influence the design and operation of the QMS and ultimately determine whether the organization is perceived as successful. Organizational context is the overarching concept that combines all internal and external issues into a comprehensive understanding of the environment in which the QMS operates. It is the starting point for defining the scope of the QMS, establishing quality objectives, and identifying risks and opportunities. A well-understood context ensures that the QMS is not built in a vacuum, but is tailored to the real conditions the organization faces. Now let us look at the practical tools and techniques for determining and documenting your organization's context. Analyzing context is a practical exercise that benefits from structure and cross-functional input. Here are the steps. Context analysis is most effective when it draws on perspectives from across the organization. Running structured workshops with representatives from different functions ensures that internal issues such as resource constraints, cultural challenges, and capability gaps are all captured. Cross-functional participation also builds shared understanding and buy-in, which makes it easier to align the QMS with the realities of the business. PESTLE and SWOT are complementary tools that work well together. PESTLE provides a structured scan of the external environment, while SWOT synthesizes both internal and external findings into a strategic overview. Using them together ensures comprehensive coverage. The outputs of these analyses feed directly into Clause 6.1, where the organization determines risks and opportunities that need to be addressed. Clause 4.2 requires us to identify relevant interested parties and understand their requirements. A practical approach is to create a stakeholder map that lists each interested party, their expectations, the relevance of those expectations to the QMS, and how the organization monitors changes. This map becomes a living document that supports scope definition, risk identification, and performance evaluation. Context is dynamic, so the analysis must be reviewed regularly. Many organizations align context reviews with their management review cycle, ensuring that changes in the internal or external environment are captured and reflected in the QMS. Triggers for ad hoc reviews include significant regulatory changes, market disruptions, organizational restructuring, or major customer feedback trends. Keeping context current prevents the QMS from becoming disconnected from reality. Let us recap the essential points from our exploration of context of the organization. To master ISO 9001 and prepare for the 2026 revision, enroll in the full course. Link in the description. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.